Evening, folks. I am at my home parish. We had a funeral today. Wonderful gentleman named Richard, who was a big name in our community. He passed away. We had a funeral, and it was a full packed church. I came and I thought to do a video where I received my first sacraments, where my family they moved from another county in the 70s. They restored a home in down the road, and my mother and her 11 siblings and my grandparents who raised me lived. And St. Philip's Parish, which has been here since this parish in the 50s, has been my home, where I got my first sacraments. First confession was in there with Eucharist and so forth, and my first Mass was here. So this, the parish, and it also is Saint Philomena's church. That bell used to be on a different avenue down the road, 5th Avenue, and this is actually Saint Philomena's church. The actual building was consecrated to Saint Philomena, and that's why you see her name right there. And so this also is where we had a school. Oh, and there's the bell. They just fixed that. That bell hasn't rung. I haven't heard that bell ring, I don't know, in 30 years. So that's, I think. Speak of the bell. This is also a warming center, a welcome center. There used to be a very big school here. Philip Wagner built a school here in the 1920s. Before there was a church building here because they couldn't afford it, but they did build an enormous 4-story school, but it's gone. All that's left is that, and that was the head of the entrance. So that was very sad for our community. We didn't want to lose our school, but it was what it was. They didn't have the money to restore the roof, etc., and handicapped accessibility was an issue. But this is a beautiful the Grotto Welcome Center, and behind here is a huge grotto, and I'm going to just show you briefly because you really could do a documentary out here. This entire 20 acres of property has been turned into a garden, and there is a wonder cave over there. It's an actual cave. It's pretty cool to go through. The old gift shop, it's now a museum, and over there is a couple odd things for tourists. There's a train toy set up. You put money into the machine, it lights up everything inside, and there's some music, old 50s tourist stuff. But behind here is what I want to show you quick, a shrine to one of my favorite saints. And here's the gardens, the Rudolph Grotto Gardens. We have Our Lady of Sorrows right here, and we have all around here the Stations of the Cross, Rudolph Grotto Gardens, cave, and so forth. So yeah, I grew up here since I was 6 years old, entered kindergarten at the school, and I went through 8th grade, and my whole family went through the school. The whole town did, 100 years of the town. I'm gonna go through it briefly and keep this video short, but this was my upbringing. My vocation was grounded in this garden, this huge Marian grotto that's, it's developed and formed over the years. I used to climb up these huge rock structures, as you can see here. Yeah, the Rudolph Gardens have been here since the 1950s. Our Lady of Sorrows. Today is the September 15th. It is actually The feast of Our Lady of Sorrows and the 7 sorrows of Mary depict her wounds. I might as well just stick with this and do another video after, but you know, Jesus is placed in the tomb. This is all glass and stoneware that Father Philip Wagner did by hand. And all this rock is specially, it's the only place in the country it has come from is Rudolph. It's volcanic rock. And the farmers in the fields would till them out of the field, and they, you know, it's a type of hard marble mix, but it's lava, from lava rocks. It's actually drift. Also, it's drift from the glaciers. But you can't find it anywhere and except for Rudolph. As if God left it here. Mary receives the dead body of Jesus. This is the piata. Number 6, I'm going backwards, but you get it. And so this is just one of the many secrets, little prayer places you can really, Jesus dies on the cross. This is also part of the stations, but yeah, over here, oh, they added a roof. So that's all new. I used to have to go up there and brush off all the pine and debris, and this is actually what I want to show you. This is the prophecy of Simeon. The first sorrow where Simeon said that her heart would be pierced. Poor Mary at 15 years old. Can't imagine what was going on in her heart and mind. Joseph and her running for safety in Egypt, etc. So this is just a small snippet of what the grotto is like. And there's lovely plants, foliage, perennials. I mean, we got every kind of begonia you can think of. They're hardy. But these hostas I'm a big fan of. My whole childhood, I grew up taking care of it with my family and taking care of the Rudolph Grotto just in every aspect, whether it's new gravel, mowing the lawn. And this is what I want to show everyone. This is Saint Philomena. And there's a national shrine down in Briggsville, Madison Diocese, but this is older. This has been here. This is one of the first shrines that Philip Wagner built in honor of our actual church, but they were asked to change the name because they removed St. Philomena from the calendar along with St. Christopher and St. Barbara, so it's kind of sad, but St. Philomena is the saint. So I used to pray a lot here when I was a young boy, and I used to climb up there and get the weeds. And all these rocks are of the same origin, and Philip Wagner had all the farmers bring in all the rocks, and he formed these structures with cement, and some of them you can't even tell how they stay in there. I've climbed up this, I've 30 years climbing up and down it, and they are all very much still into place. It hasn't eroded, and it's everywhere. So I thought to show this part of my life was formed here as a priest, as a young boy. I was orphaned. I was practically homeless. Every weekend I was somewhere else, someone aunt's uncle's house on a couch on the floor. It was not a way for a kid to grow up, but my life as a priest started that way. I was really just me, myself, and God. I mean, we're not even in the heart of the grotto. It's quite vast. But he, over his entire life, built this, and he was here for almost 50 years. One quick story is he felt compelled to build this grotto in honor of the Blessed Mother. Now, I might add, I used to be the one who, if we would take turtles from our pond, and I every year would put turtles in here for the groundskeeper. She'd always ask me, she's like, "Can you bring me some turtles?" I'm like, "Okay." And at 10 years old, I would go and grab her some turtles and put it in the turtle pond. We have Our Lady of Fatima shrine over here. And I've prayed the rosary here many times. I have a deep devotion to Jacinta, Francesco, and Lucia, and our Blessed Mother. I've knelt here for many years, since I was a little boy. And over here we have the War Memorial garden for, we celebrate the Annunciation up there. And this whole place is dedicated to veterans who have passed away. You can see it right behind there as well. But yeah, this is right there. It's something about God and country. Philip Wagner got really sick when he went to Europe, and this was after. This was one of the tall structures. No one would climb this but me. I was the only one willing to do it. There's the lighthouse that actually has a light in it. There's the old lighthouse that doesn't work anymore. There's the old fountain, but that don't work anymore either. And it just keeps going. So here we have the Last Supper. Those were all handmade type of porcelain molds from Italy. And you can see the roof there. All this marble / granite / hardened stone. This isn't volcanic, but all this came from Rudolph. All this rock, it's fascinating when you look at it all. It's like, wow. Yeah, this is our memorial for our those who have died fighting for the world and peace, and so it goes. So I spent a lot of my childhood here, and I thought to share. This is where they used to have the book registry, where those traveling here, there'd be a big book here, and you could sign it. But these were all from Italy. A lot of the statues were from Italy. Most of them, my grandmother and I repainted and repaired. She did most of the repairing. That's one of my favorite hostas. That's a Hulk. No, not a Hulk. It's one of the green Hulk one. Oh, I can't remember, but that's one of my favorites. It's got that dual green look. Yeah, I mean, people still go up there and they plant flowers. They plant urbans next door. There's a seat if you need to rest. But there's Francis of Assisi. And this is the Blessed Mother. This is where we would do our Marian crowning. We would crawl up there. My 8th grade year, 7th grade year, I'd crawl up there and put crown on Mary. But yeah, this, Our Lady of Lourdes. This is, Our Lady of Lourdes. This is Bernadette. So, Father Philip Wagner, he got sick, and he went to Europe in the turn of the century, 1920s, and got really sick, almost died, and he made a deal with God, and he promised the Blessed Mother if he was healed. I don't know if it was tuberculosis or something. It was serious. He almost died, but he lived. And right after he got better, he started making this grotto, and he died in like 58, almost. So I think he started when he got back from Europe in 1920s. So for 40 years, 35 plus years, he built this place. Took him almost 4 decades, but it's what you see here. And there is so many nooks and crannies. There's hiding places. There are even places that nobody knows about, except for me and a few people. This is the bridge that goes to St. Jude's Chapel. And you can go in circles and go around, and there's so many different places to hide and pray. My grandmother, we redid all those statues. We repainted them in our shop, and so forth. And I'd bring them down, and there used to be a statue there. But that's part of the Wonder Cave. It's quite a big structure. We have the wishing well. Every year I'd have to go down there and gather up all the money and put it in buckets. That was my job. Well, a lot of kids' jobs. I wasn't the only one. But this was an actual well, and yep, there's still money down there. And then we have the Stations of the Cross. And behind St. Jude's Chapel, underneath, is a bunch of statues that we also repaired. And there's some unusual, this is the Pieta, some unusual trunk. This thing was from It's from a box elder, and one of the families nearby brought it in, and it was just an odd thing. I think that's just something that people thought fascinating. That's our Lord. I don't know what was special about it other than it maybe had cancer. I always called it, when I was kids, we always called it the turd, the big turd, because it just looked like, there's St. Peter, patron saint of mine. Anyways, that one's gone. So yeah, this is, and then all the Stations of the Cross. These were the last thing, he actually didn't finish them. He passed on the work to Edmund Ribicki, and here's the 12th station, but all these stations wrap around this area in the garden around the wishing well and so forth. And then we have a huge, all our church picnic stuff out here, and it's just very special. Yeah, I spent 35 years of my life out here, and then as a priest it's been even more special. When I got ordained and I had my first mass, you know, this place is, this formed my faith. Like, me being a priest has a lot to do with this place. It majestic, special. I mean, when you're 7 years old and you're looking at these statues, you're looking at these rocks and you're climbing all over the place like a monkey. You know, I would climb up there and weed the top of that. It needs to be weeded now. Not many people do. It's actually kind of dangerous, but yeah, this is the top. This is the top. There's a path on top of the and here's a wall. So inside there, on the other side is this is actually one of the holes. Nope, that isn't one. But there are little holes here and there for light, which you go inside of it and it's very dark. But yeah, very special. As a priest, this place had a big impact on me, an impression on me, and I thought to share it. This is one of the secret, I'll show you, extra secret gate there. There's one of the, yep, that's one way to get inside. And then inside, Philip Wagner made a decision. The cave goes a certain way, but he decided to change it last minute, but he started one way and then he turned it around and did it another way. It's kind of weird to say it that way. You have to see it to believe it, or to understand what I'm talking about. So there's a secret chamber in this, the Wonder Cave, they call it. The Grotto Wonder Cave has a secret chamber. Not many people know about it. You have to go over a structure to go over another structure, and then it's a huge cavern. And he wound up changing directions and went in a different way, but they left that chamber as it was. So it's a very large room. It's bigger